Test, test, test. Starting in a second, guys. It's feeling very low energy start, to be honest. Yo! Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Sunday. How are you all doing out there? So today's going to be a continuation of The Roottrees Are Dead. I'm really looking forward to doing some more investigation and snooping and getting to the bottom of this powerful and weird family with a lot of history. A lot of weird history. And I think we've only played a bit of this yesterday, and I feel like we're only really scratching the surface of this at the moment. There's still so much more to uncover, and hopefully we will uncover some more today. I think when we got to the end of the last stream, I think we were kind of just like, I'm looking at all these documents and all this stuff, and I can't find anything that, like, is helpful. But hopefully, I'm fairly optimistic we'll do a bit better today. We'll get some more done today. I was really hung up with the I think the next generation. Getting some of those people and getting their names correct. That's still something that I'm still really wanting to work on a little bit. So, for those who didn't catch the stream yesterday, grabbing something. This is a game where we are tasked with uncovering a family tree of a notable family following the death of the family patriarch and his immediate family. So his wife and daughters were also killed in the same plane crash. It's very Obra Dinn-like, if you've ever played that game. That was definitely a big influence in this, I can kind of tell. Because it follows the same sort of... the crux of the game is to identify these family members. And once you get 3 family members, their names, the photo, and their occupation correct, then it locks them out and locks them in as correct, which means you can then obviously go into the other ones as well. yeah, so it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed that. But like Oberdin, we're at a point where I say we're at a point. I'm getting to that stage where it's like really tough, and I feel really dumb. But I'm still enjoying it all the same. Anyway, should we do a quick recap of what the events so far? So we can get you up to speed if you didn't see the last stream, or if you haven't seen the VOD yet, or whatever, for whatever reason. So, the Roottrees sisters and their parents died in the plane crash on December 6, 1998. The next evening, a shadowy figure appears at your door and said the lawyers are looking to sort out the family tree. After a quick test, the figure gave you access to some resources. This included a list of notable Roottrees who they said would be the easiest family members to place. After some time, they returned with new resources. A photo of Carl's generation taken in the mid to late 70s, as well as some papers and mail from his office. Before they called you, you heard a report on WRTD radio that seemed important to your investigation. The newscaster mentioned you could search online for WRTD. Instead of returning, the person who hired you called you on the phone. They claimed they were a Roottrie. He also told you they'd give more explanation next time they returned. And so we've still got to uncover some more info shortly. Apparently there's a level 6 intuition. There's kind of clues in here. I'm having is anything worth noting. We did do a search for WRTD. Okay, well let's have a look at the evidence. We have a look at the evidence that we have already. So we know that this has got the most intuition, so there's still lots here that we can kind of pick from. So this is the final entry of Lauren's diary about her and her son Clark, who's someone who I'm still trying to sort of get a figure out where he fits in a little bit. I know Clark is a musician who's done work with Jim, but we don't know. And we know he had an affair with Jim's wife's younger sister, which broke up the band. Basically, they were in together. So he's a musician. So we know that. Anyway, and they had I'm assuming they had a child together because there is a couple of Lafferty LaRues, which is the combined last names of Clark and one of the sisters who he had the affair with. Anyway, so kind of everyone in the quote-unquote free spirit generation, which is the third generation of Roottrees, they all want to be musicians and artists. So all of them are that kind of gives us a clue as to what they all do. I think we've kind of... But they also want to be artists and dancers, so... We still don't know who this one is. I suspect it's one of the... I don't know though, it's weird. Because he's like... Because there's a couple of... There's quite a lot of them actually. So Zach Morden becomes the second president. But I'm gonna have a look. So I'm gonna have a look, see if I can in the evidence if Lauren said anything. Okay, oh, about a generation was never so bad. My brothers all seemed to pursue paths of knowledge, and the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if we ever lived anywhere south of Pennsylvania. So I assume that's kind of like a race-based thing. As my first published book, Swashbuckle My Heart, was based on the pirate stories you met with Jacob when we went walking the woods after school. I think he'd be proud of Clark and I carrying on his name. Cousin Jones, Zach's not a bad, that's a bad present after all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job raising her twins. So Angelica has twins. So who are they gonna be? Suppose they'd be on the I'm gonna highlight those. And oh yeah, I meant to like organize this because this is a mess. Oh, hang on, we haven't looked at his wife Edith. Have we logged that? Hang on. I'm sure he must have, right? So Miracle Jr. had married Edith Jacobson. Unless there is another Edith that I'm missing. Yeah, it's just the one. That's fine. These smaller ones are all, they're not needed, but they're quite helpful in sort of getting the picture. So that's interesting and that's good to know. My president is insisting to be doing job raising her twins, so I guess do we know who the twins are? Gwen is Gwen, but she cannot divorce for her head held high. She even told us to make come home next year so we can meet her kids. Free spirits in any other family, they all end up on the streets. If I'm going to back my notebook. What did we have on Gwyn? I know it was on this page because there's a massive page I need to organize. Took her mother's famous name. do another search for Gwyn. I wonder if we can get an idea of who her husband or her kids are. Oops. Then her mother was Marguerite. And if I search for, hang on, in the, that wouldn't be in the public library. No, that wouldn't work. Let me go back to the evidence. So the way she refers to Edward here, Popson's gotten over it because Edward's set to take over his department once he retires, which would mean that Edward probably isn't her father. What I might have assumed at some point. Oh, I mean, Clancy Edward is a father. Who she refers to as Pop. Edward. Marry someone who would be illegal and so below Pennsylvania, south of Pennsylvania. That means he probably isn't Carl's father. And he probably isn't James's either. Which means this is probably Edward's. At the same time, force Clancy to send him to the academy, so... Wait. I need to go back to the evidence because there's a thing here. Okay, Edward is her, so Clancy is Thingy's, father. And I don't think that's him. I think that might be him. And I think that's still correct. And that would I think this might still be Edwards. And he worked in advertising. I don't know if that picture's correct. I don't know if that picture's correct either. No, Edwards was gonna... He's a lawyer because he was gonna... Wait. Okay, yeah, so Edwards also a lawyer. And he's gonna be one of these three. Just gonna check see if maybe this locks something in. But apparently not. That's fine. I wonder if we look up perhaps some of her books other than that one. So Squash, Buckle My Heart, and that's Lauren Roottrees. Okay. Or is it going to be Lauren Lafferty? Okay. Do I have my notes about her? Oh, Rafferty, not Lafferty. What am I? And a print released as X marks the spot. I'm going to try that. see if that comes up under, because they said how. According to the back of the book, this is a buried treasure from Lauren Roottrees from the author of the Court series. It says, keep an eye out for revisiting your diary 10 years later. Let's try that. Oh, okay. That's opened up a can of worms. This is the original version. This is a version of Lauren Roottrees' diary from 1975. Unlike the original diary, it contains no pictures, but has many new passages that reflect on her thoughts 10 years later. One major event happened between the releases that changed Lauren's outlook on certain subjects. The death of Elias, a summary of the fallout as One major event happened between releases that changed Lauren's outlook on certain subjects. The death of Elias. A summary of the fallout has been added to your notes as well as some other select pages. I don't want that. No, I've got that in there already. Duh. Just want to unhighlight that. The new diary opens with an explosive incident happened in the decade between the release and re-release of Lauren's diary. Elias Roottrees had died, and during the reading of his will there was an audible gasp when the certain name was read aloud. Samantha Roottrees. Oh, I assumed Sam was a Samuel, not a Samantha. Okay, interesting. So that means I'm going to get my notes up. Sorry, start reading ahead. Okay, Elias Roottrees had died, and during the reading of his will, there was an audible gasp when a certain name was read aloud. Samantha Roottrees. Although Sam and her children were not meant to receive monetary inheritance, he had a stipulation that she retained the rights to run the farm and any and all decisions related to it. It was then that the scandalous secrets came out. None of the five pieces were surprised, but it was quite a shock to everyone else, including Sam. She had been told her parents had died. Apparently Sam was the illegitimate daughter of Elias Jr. and Patricia Christensen. Okay, I'm going to highlight that. Can we move that? I'm going to delete that note. I'm going to put it into succession. Patricia, the daughter of a local steel mogul, and Eli Jr. harbored a secret romance at age 16. She became pregnant, and after birth, her father refused to let her see Eli Jr. ever again. Her baby, Samantha, was sent to the Roottrees. Elias hid her away with a local farmhand known as EC. Patricia was married off to a much older man and sent away. That was the end of that. Almost. None of the next gens had ever met or heard of Patricia until she unexpectedly reappeared, now going by Patsy. After Patsy's husband died, she reunited with Eli Jr. and they finally married in their 50s. Lauren mentioned the wedding in her first diary without knowing Patsy's history. Eli Jr. had never taken another lover. Lauren, ever romantic, quite appreciated this. And the game has now disappeared off my monitor, because of course it has. Thankfully it's now back. When Patsy and Eli Jr. finally married, Elias decided Sam should have been a Roottrees in the first place, even though she was not part of the clan's said trust. He wanted to include her in the family affairs. That was what led to Lauren's initial entry named Sam. Right, okay, so let's go to the family tree. So that's not going to be Edward, that's going to be Elias Jr. Wait, no. No, the last junior is here. And that's with Christensen. And that would be her, who is Samantha Roottrees. And she works on the farm. Right, is that correct? She can rights to run the farm and any and all decisions related to it. Okay, Sam. This is a page of additional notes and context from 1975 10th anniversary re-release of Lauren's diary. It is a companion piece to the entry about Sam. Clearly, I did not know our true family history when I wrote this. I didn't even know Sam was a Roottrees. All my doubts were ill-founded. She's a fine woman. Had she the chance to grow up with us, Sam might have been the sister figure Gwyn never was. Ernie and the kids are lucky to have her. And her children seem eager to help the family in their own way. Ernie Jr. has been learning the day-to-day from Zach. So, who is... Only kids are lucky to have her, and the children seem eager to help the family in their own way. Only Junior has been learning day to day from Zach. It has been a long, long time since a real Roottrees was excited and interested in the actual candy as Ernie. As a bonus, Gwyneth has the green thumb of her mother. Right, so Gwyneth is the daughter of Samantha. Is there another Gwyneth? I feel like there's every... No, wait, no. Yes, wait. There's too many Gwyneths. Ah, okay. Right, I've got this person wrong. That's not her. This is Samantha. What I'm most ashamed about is not figuring out for myself. Sam's picture of Patsy with jet black hair and green eyes. She doesn't have the thick glasses Patsy did, of course. But I guess that skipped a generation. Her children have that covered. It's really hard to explain the look on Pop's face when they read the farm's operations passed to Samantha Roottrees, for as long as she was willing. I got flashbacks to when Zach was made president. Mother reframed it a bit to calm them down. Sam wouldn't receive any candy money, after all, and was essentially inheriting the right to rule over the peasants for eternity. Pop warned us away from that farm for years. I never let me see in person, but Pop once referred to him as a confirmed bachelor, and I suspect that's why he kept us from there. Sam had to grow up in the house with him and his roommate, Mr. Miller. I'm not sure Sam will ever forgive Uncle Junior or Patsy for abandoning her for that life, but if I were her, I might not ever forgive them either. Even so, she seems to blame more than the two of them. She has no problems with the next gens, but she has palpable hatred for the Five Pieces and Elias and Gwyneth. Okay. Sam's picture image of Patsy with jet black hair and green eyes. She doesn't have the thick glasses Patsy did, of course, but I guess that skips generation. Her children have that covered. So, there is a photo we have of a girl with thick glasses. And so that's going to be her and him. Which would fit into the, and that would be it's hard to explain the look on Pot's face when they read that the farm's operations would pass to Dirk flashbacks. So I think so that's going to be Gwyneth. Gwyneth Madsen. So do we have another Madsen here? Perfect, right. So that'll be Ernest Madsen. And then Ernest Madsen Jr. will be the son. Whether I got this right, whether she's older or he's older, I'm not sure. Anyway, oh, hang on. No, hang on. He's Ernest Madsen Jr. And Ernie is the dad. Because he takes over the company. He's like third president? And then is it him who gets really sick? Anyway, we'll get back to that. I'm gonna make a note of that on my own notes. Find my pen. We'll come back to that. I want to finish off reading this. I'm trying to focus a bit more. I feel like after the last stream I was like, do I have like ADHD or something? Because the way I'm like just jumping between different bits and bobs in here, so I feel like I'm not it's not like focused or linear at all. It's just really scattershot. Maybe everyone's like that. I don't know. This is a page of additional notes and context from the 1975 10-year anniversary release of Lauren's diary. There's a companion piece entry about her son Clark. Reading this back, I get deja vu. As I write this addendum, Clark's gotten married again. No Roottrees ever remarried. Sure, I lost Jacob. And Gwyn divorced Wild Bill before she ever had a second. Right, hang on. I should really be right. Gwyn divorced. Gwyn married. Wild Bill. Williams. Gwyn divorced Wild Bill just before she had a second, not that I can blame her. I've seen what she gets up to in Starlet. What he gets up to in Starlet. But neither of us ever took a second husband. With the world's moving, I guess it was inevitable someone in this family would remarry. I just wish it wasn't my son. I can only wonder if Clark's apparent disrespect for marriage is due to the lack of a real father. I did what I could, and Lord knows Eli C stepped up and helped. More than I can say for Clancy and Edward. Eli C practically raised Clark and Jim as brothers. Right, so Eli C is Jim's dad. Eli's marriage seems fine and Jim's marriage seems solid as a rock, pun intended. So who knows what causes these things. I suspect that he's marrying Jane to keep her from running out of the band. Clark marries Jane. That would be the third wheel, but I imagine they wouldn't last long as a trio. But still, I don't think a marriage on such a shaky foundation like that can last, and Lord knows I was right last time. This is a page from 1975 anniversary. It's not a companion piece to any specific entry, but addresses feedback. The biggest complaint I got after publishing my diary is how many similar names there are. And I get it, there are 4 Elis for Pete's sake. But that's how it is. Someone would say, I saw Eli in town. Eli in town, and I wouldn't know which one they meant. My brother, my uncle, my cousin. That's why either became Uncle Junior, or Miracle's Eli, or Eli C. Our family's names are always unusual. Grandpa Elias was a big believer in using names for each generation to honour those in the last. His father and Grandma Gwyneth's father were named Edward and Clancy, so now you see where my pop's name came from. One thing that's always been consistent in our family though, is that anytime someone's a junior, they're always the firstborn son. That goes for Miracle, Eli, or even Clancy. Which makes sense. I feel like that's like a common thing in names. And I had that suspicion of that would be the case, but that goes for Miracle, Eli, or even Clancy. With the women, however, that goes out the window. Okay, that also makes sense. I think Gwendolyn got her name from some combination of Gwyneth and Caroline. Who was Elias's mother? Who was Elias's mother? Women's names tend to get all mixed up as the generations went on. I guess that's because there's no female equivalent of Junior. So if you're reading my diary and confused, you're not alone. Even the government had problems. I remember once receiving certified mail for an Edward Clancy Roottrees. I had to break the news that they got my father's name backwards. Okay, so we knew that he's their father. It's not a companion piece to any specific entry, but rather a fun bonus. Apparently this was the first thing that she could find that she ever wrote. She knows it was for a school assignment about anger, and she believes based on the teacher's name she must have been in the 3rd grade. She doesn't exactly remember the event spell held out, but she does remember getting in trouble. I got angry when I met a new girl who I do not like. She was dirty and did not have a pretty dress. Me and Pop walked home in town and she hugged him. When I told her he was my Pop, she pushed me. Got angry and yelled at her, and Pop said to treat her nice. Said, "Your Pop is my dad." She screamed it loud in my ear. She was lying to me, and lying is not a nice thing. So I pushed her too. Then I got in trouble. Then Pop took her away. He told me, "Don't worry, I'm glad she's gone." Interesting. So is that maybe an interaction with Samantha when she was... younger? Anyway. Right, let's take some of the information we've got. Right, so we got the Gwyn married while Bill Williams is not necessary to have, but interesting nonetheless. Oh yeah, it'll be like William Williams or something. That's interesting. Okay. So that's obviously, well, I assume the Wild Bill was a sage name. But also Williams looks like it is as well, which is interessant. Come back to that later. It's not particularly relevant. Eli is Jim's dad. Yeah, Elias C. And don't have a picture for that though, which is annoying. I think he was the one who was an architect. I know we've got some evidence in the periodicals, sort of. Maybe we don't. Thought I did. So Clark married Jane, which I think we knew. Yeah. But they have a child who's about the same age as, in the same generation as the Roottrees sisters. Right, so all firstborn males are juniors. Which means that's correct. And I suspect that that's... I don't know, I don't think that is... It must be. Yes! Two entries are correct and have been locked. So Edward, Samantha, and Angelica. So that means... What did Clancy Jr. do? Okay, but at least because we have this sort of locked in to some extent, like these might be in the wrong order. Because we don't know what Gwyneth. What if we give them a search on the internet? Ernie Madsen Jr. How about Ernest? Interesting. And then take out the junior because that doesn't really work. Do a Samantha Roottrees. Damn. Okay. Let's go through some of our photos. Because I know there was one here, which I think was relevant to. Yeah, so Ernie did unfortunately die. He got sick, and there's some conspiracy theory that it was poison. So it was like an envelope with a letter beneath a candle on the corner of his office. That says, Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry you're unable to attend the funeral. It's tradition to have it as soon as possible and earn money anyone else on earth, and how busy your job can be. I encourage you to achieve a candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay respect, even though it's not expected for those outside the faith to do so. Ernie was a man full of love, not only for his family, but his family's legacy. He had an immense amount of pride for the work you three did together, as well as how Carl has carried on for him taking over. To myself, it's impossible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of ending spills, but we called it too late for him to get onto the donor list. The company took care of us beyond our wildest expectations. Brennan said at the time, but Ernie and I knew it had to be in Carl that convinced the trust, and that it was no one coincidence it happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We could never have done that without the two of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie. So his wife is Deborah Bean, I'm guessing. And then but that no, I've got this wrong. I reckon he's here. Because Deborah has a photo, so I reckon that's going to have to go there. So I reckon this is... hang on. Swap that over. That was president. I think he's the third president. Or is he the fourth? I don't. Because Guy Hudson takes over before Carl, I think. And so that's Deborah Bean, and that's a photo. So this is, that's Nicole Madsen. That doesn't make sense. Current observation, child. K-12. And then this is going to be, take that out. And that's going to be Gwyneth. We don't know what she does. So I wonder if the Hudsons are this batch here. But we still need to figure out what it is that she does. And we don't have anything in the diary that sort of evidence that, I don't think. So I think we've kind of don't quite know why, because we know, I'm pretty sure that's because that's going to be Lauren. So why hasn't that been verified? Yeah, so that'll be Eli, won't it? Because he looks like quote-unquote Pop. I'm trying to think, do we have anything in the periodicals about the advertising? It's presumably I'm going to do a search for Teen Blast for that. Teenage Girls website was lost to the Roottrees sisters. Fashion Night was often covered by a magazine. Raina Roottrees first appeared on the cover on her 16th birthday. And that's been added to our periodicals, so let's have a search of that. I guess that's probably too vague to come up with anything, but Teen Blast Place hosts so many Roottrees advertisements over the years, so many products, including 5 pieces. They flood the results. One of them was already in your evidence. Okay, brilliant. We do Raina. Whoop, that's done something. Raina was on the cover of Teen Blast in 2016, did an interview. You can add the cover in the article to your evidence. So that's about Raina Roottrees from 1984. This issue also mentions TMS and Brother Trouble. Here is Brother Trouble. One important I learned in interview, Raina talks about her inspirations. One important thing I learned from early ages is that dreams are not outside of our grasp. My grandpa was a college professor who taught lectures about history. Okay. Right, that's helpful. He is a professor. Which is there. Talk about history. He always told me that history is full of people from famous families who wasted their fame and fortune by taking it for granted. So he told me I should go out and use my aim to accomplish something. I think he may have practiced that lecture a lot because I have other people in my family that have also made the Roottrees name famous for things beside candy. His older sister even wrote a book that some of my friends told me they had read in school. I took his advice and now I work with my mum, designing clothing. I helped decide what colours and patterns I want to model, and then she designs the clothes with a team of amazing men and women. My grandpa passed away earlier this year. Grandma Laura tells me she was really proud of what we managed to accomplish. So Laura is his wife. And there you go. That's another 3. These ranges are correct and have been locked. Select following option entries: Laura Carlson, Deborah Bean, and that photo. Booyah! Okay, so that's almost all. That's that whole family almost done, which is nice. So why don't we do a search for Wild Bill Williams? You find information on a website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. The site is not very well organised, and your search is broken. But you can get 10 of your pages from your search engine. Wild Bill Williams was a leading man of some notable movies in the 1950s. Appears in the adventure a movie called Fortune Favours the Grave, which is yet to be released for home audiences. You don't find any additional information about that film. He was known for his good looks and off-screen romances, specifically with blondes. He was married 4 different times to 4 different actresses. There's famous Hollywood rumour that he even approached Marilyn Monroe at a party, and that she was already aware of his reputation. Did you know? Wild Bill grew up in Paris, France. He returned there often. So here's to his. That's interesting. Because we know that he marries Gwyn, and he has 2 children with her. But we don't know their names because presumably they take the last name, they take the Williams last name, which doesn't appear on here. So we don't really know his. Grandma Laura. Who is Brother Trouble? Is he one of the Miracle Boys? Okay, never mind. Brother Trouble is a 1989 sitcom about 2 16-year-old brothers at the same age, once when adopted. Played by Tommy Mark Sheridan and Dustin Christopher Baker. Their single mother, played by stand-up Penelope Tessa Green, often had to navigate their job as a magazine columnist, as well as the troubles that came with raising 2 boys, who were extremely competitive in sports, academics, and even romantic pursuit of their next-door neighbour, Roxy. The showrunner was a small dream director, Ron Roottrees. Interesting. The show has strong ratings for the time of season 1, rocketing both Sheridan and Baker to instant stardom, most of them in the teenage girl demographic, where it was cancelled in 1991, midway through the second season, due to a significant drop-off in ratings. So we looked up Ron Roottrees, didn't we? He was on the notable list, right? No, he wasn't. I'm thinking of Red Roottrees, who was like a red herring, which was very funny. And also a good tutorial, so like not everything is relevant. So if we look up Ron Roottrees, I'm sure a small screen director, head of RR Productions. That name is familiar. Directed episodes of a few shows before show running and creating one season hit, Brother Trouble. Show was cancelled partway through season 2. So where would he fit in? I think is the question. No, he'd be too old for. Oh, he's got to be. He's got to be here, right? Unless he's the... And... Yeah, I'm going to follow this Roottrees tree. So... Has his name come up before? I swear... So Bonnie, next president, Guy Hudson, Junior, Caroline, Gwyneth M, Gwendolyn, Miracle Junior, Jim Roottrees, Clark, Carl, and Eli M. Still so much from this that we can get, but have we? No, it's distracting. I don't want to break off this Roottrees branch. RR Productions. To find production company responsible for Brother Trouble. You find a comment on the Usenet bold saying that Brother Trouble ended up being an ironic name considering the rumours about RR Productions, Ron and Robbie Roottrees. So, who is Robbie Roottrees? So much relevant information about Robbie Roottrees. In the current thread on a message board about television cliches, we found a thread called Why Was Brother Trouble cancelled? One user speculates. I think it's because the writing went redone in season 2. They actually had an episode where Roxy was addicted to sniffing markers. The person replied, maybe it's due to the rumor about Robbie Roottrees in Silver Screen magazine. There is a link to some kind of article appears to be dead. Right. Silver Screen magazine. I wonder if they are the the children of the just a rumor about Robbie Roottrees in Silver Screen magazine. Let's see, RR Productions. I wonder if that's... no, it's not what I want. I'm sure it exists here. I just... no. Damn. What if I just do silver screen? No. I'm sure there's something that exists for this, but I know there's. But if I do silver screen, search it in here. Yes. Yes, I do. Silver Screen magazine was Hollywood Decided's magazine, focusing on less on actors and actresses and more about the nitty-gritty of writing, directing, costuming, set design, film promotion, and other elements of filmmaking. Around from 1983 to 1993, it was brought by a bigger, more recognisable magazine a few years ago, and the website now directs the new magazine. The new magazine doesn't appear to have any relevance to your case. Well, that's fine. Non-Roottrees. I'll be Roottrees. Silver Screen has played host many Roottrees advertisements over the year. Their products include 5 pieces, they follow the results. Right, why don't we do Brother Trouble? TMS? Okay. Perfect, there it is. A small rumours article from 1992 that claims that self-taught television screenwriter Robbie Roottrees was allegedly tried and convicted under the name Robert in the French court of law. It seems that he, again allegedly, embezzled from the company RR Productions for a gambling habit that left him hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. He then fled to Paris, where he grew up, and then Silver Screen continues to insist that it was all very much allegedly, assaulted an officer who came to question him. The article's author says they were unable to get in a statement from the French authorities, but received information from an anonymous source and were able to confirm through public record that there was a trial involving a Robert Roottrees around the time that Brother Trevor was cancelled. Okay. So, they are... So I want to go back because I want to have a... Okay, so... So that's these two. So we've got Ron and Robert. And Ron is a director, and the other is a screenwriter. So we might have got those in the wrong order. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because they're not. Yeah, it does matter because they need to be in obviously youngest. Is there anything in the? I do Ronald Roottrees. I want to do a search for Thomas Sheridan, who is Raina's husband. TMS is a common abbreviation for it's the O90 team heartthrob Tommy Mark Sheridan. His first graduate role as Thomas Sheridan was on a popular soap opera called Time Marches On. He skyrocketed to popularity after his starring role in the sitcom Brother Trouble. Since the end of Brother Trouble, he's often been on the cover at tabloids for supposed drug use and more recently his relationship with Raina Roottrees. To a short engagement, they married in 1907 when she was only 19 and he was 23. Okay. But nothing about any relation with the other Roottrees who was working on Brother Trouble with. Okay, Okay, we might have to come back to this at some other point. Might be some other evidence that will come out sooner, so I get an idea of where these two sort of sit. I mean, we could just... He might be... Actually, I need to go back to... Sorry, I'm jumping around again. So, Ernie, we need to figure out which president he was. Was he second? No, was he third or fourth? I reckon he was third. And Guy Hudson was fourth. But there should be some evidence here. Okay, so he is definitely third, sorry. No, sorry, fourth. Dirt. So how many other Mordens are there? Quite a few. We haven't picked up Gwendolyn, but she was mentioned in Lauren's diary. Who's EC? Sworn there was a thing about Gwendolyn. Maybe I'm wrong. And this has still got quite a lot of like high intuition level. find really interesting. Vocal for Stephanie Jones. Back next to a large campaign. We could look at Butler County Times, maybe in the periodical for Stephanie. Actually, we'll have to spider search it first. Butler County is located outside Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. While the Roottrees County Company now has its headquarters in the city, the company began in a small farm in the Butler County limits, and the area has a lot of history of the family. The Butler County Times is presumably a local paper there. There are likely articles from over the years involving the Roottrees family and those adjacent to them. It's been automatically added to your tutorial search interface. As a side note, a video game called The Roottrees Are Dead was once set in Butler Country. It turns out that the creator never lived near the Butler County, or even any connection to Butler County. Huh. What a coincidence. That's the game we're playing. I mean... I don't know why I'm searching because it's right there. Stephanie... Actually, no. Essentially, there could be quite a lot of articles about various Roottrees stuff. What if we just... No, let's do Stephanie Jones. See what... Most recently mentioned Stephanie Jones, a small report detailing the election results from last month's election. Stephanie apparently won her election. You can also find the full version of the newspaper clipping on the back of the campaign mailer. While most of it is unimportant, you do find the following. Stephanie Jones, born Stephanie Landon, till her marriage to local business owner Brian Jones, lived in Butler County her whole life. Stephanie grew up in a home without a father. My mother and her partner essentially had entirely female influence. Although she was a distant cousin of the Roottrees, her mother Caroline, a local artist, who has appeared in the front page of the Butler County Times in the past, has often come out as opposing the corporations and policies around the deforestation of indigenous trees to expand their maple farms. Like my mother, I'm not a fighter. I want to bring love to the world. Okay. She's a distant cousin of the Roottrees. Mother Caroline is Caroline. I think that's I don't know. I thought that was her, but maybe it isn't. I think she would be why don't we have a look? I'm still not struggling to brace it. I'm gonna create a tab. My notes. This is again very unorganized and very messy. I'm kind of keeping notes all over the place. I think I'm going to have to come back to this at some point later on. So CM is clearly her mother, Caroline. So we know what that is now. If we do Guy Hudson. The about the Countdowns did not archive their Roottrees. They did feature a front page story in 1982 about Guy Hudson and his wife Patricia dying in a car accident. The story itself was surprisingly light on relevant details due to the recency of the accident. Police reported that the crash was caused by an unidentified driver who swerved in front of Hudson's car, causing him to brake hard and go off the interstate. The guy was a somewhat controversial president. Foul play is not suspected. There are witnesses who reported that the vehicle which instigated the wreck was speeding, swerving between lanes and cutting other drivers off as well for at least 5 or 6 minutes before the tragic accident. One witness says, "Could have been any one of us, who eventually ran off the road." The aggressor fled after the accident. The police have a few leads other than make and model. Guy has been president of the Roottrees company for only 4 years, and undoubtedly a fertile period in the company's history. He and his wife had no children. Okay. Right, so... I think that's here. This guy here, right? Unless there's some... Yeah, it has to be. And that's President's third? Yeah. And then his wife is going to be another Patricia. Presumably that one. And is he in the photo, 70s photo? Is, so he's one of these. So he's either this guy or this guy. I reckon he might be him. But then maybe... I'm going to do Ernie Madsen Jr. Oh no, it had to be Ernest, wouldn't it? If we do it, just gonna do Ernest, okay. Madsen. Okay. think we're gonna have to. I think that makes sense for it to be guy based on the kind of the hair color is similar to this hair color. It's a little bit darker, but still sort of like a shade of red. So I think that would make sense. We just have to lock in a couple of others, I think. Is there anything in the about the County Times about Ronald Roottrees? Doubt it, but no. Or Robert Roottrees? What about Samantha Roottrees? Damn. Trying to think of an avenue we can kind of go down. I'm gonna put Clark's photo in there. Because I'm not sure who else he could be from that photo. Aside from him, possibly. Unless... that's James, and that's Clark. Because he's got his mother's curly hair. I'm gonna say... I don't want to put housewife because I feel like it just feels very it doesn't feel right, but I want to put something in here because I don't think there's gonna be anything that we're gonna get. So she's a gardener. So she's inherited her gift for gardening. So maybe I was thinking she's a farmer, but we look at silver screen, and what if we do wild? Actually, no. Wing root tree. A few casted times to Grim root trees, or maybe another silver screen, but now that seems relevant. What about wild Bill Williams? Come across a small mention of Wild Bill. Apparently, a director who considered Wild Bill his friends once hired him to make a small cameo in a war movie, Christmas Mission. Apparently, Wild Bill was up to his reputation. He showed up drunk 3 days in a row and couldn't remember his lines. He kept on hitting on an actress who was supposed to be doing a very somber, serious role. Wild Bill dropped the picture here, and the director no longer speak. Yeah, but I need to know. It's like. What if I swap these two around? Hey! Brilliant. Which means this is obviously Robert. That's another one that's going to get locked in fairly soon. But that's not, that means that's not right. So Bonnie Hudson is presumably, who was mentioned in that Free Spirit photo. Presumably his sister. I'm guessing that's her next to him. So we're going to do Bonnie Hudson, and it's going to be her. Obviously we don't know what her job was, or is she married quite yet. I wonder if we do the kind of times and we do Zachariah Morden. So we can get Edward Roottrees. So presumably Edward Roottrees' child is in this photo. Yes, that has to be Clark. So all the other men in the photo have been identified. I don't know who. Must be Gwen. One of these must be Gwendolyn. And Caroline. So Caroline's been mentioned as a Landon as the mother of Stephanie. She's in this sort of era. I reckon that's her. And then that will be Stephanie. And she's in politics. And then that makes that Brian. Who's this guy? And just trying to think where some of these would go. So Caroline is she's in this photo, but I'm not sure which one she would be is the issue. I reckon possible, but it's not gonna actually have her her thing, but let's go back to I want to go back to the notes about her mother, Caroline. About father, my mother and her partner, so she clearly was eventually came out as a lesbian, I guess, later in life. So we won't know. We gotta figure out who her partner's gonna be. Caroline, a local artist, appeared on the front page about the county many times in the past. Right. So Caroline. A lot of people named Caroline have been reported on. It's Caroline Morden. Like I was story about local art situations, getting one by Caroline Morden. There isn't much about Caroline as a person. This is mostly a listing of art in the county. She seems to get top billing. Currently, the story has the image of Caroline standing beside a large metal sculpture of a mermaid. It's captioned Caroline standing next to a sculpture Atlantis Burden. The sculpture is one of many works featuring her upcoming book Self-Portrait Art and the Beauty of Women. Symbolized according to a quote further down, Atlantis Burden is meant to symbolize society split into like institution whether women should be equals or something to protect. Picture on the front page is an adds your evidence. Right, and we're also going to have a look at the book Self-Portrait Art and the Beauty of Women. And that's Caroline. Geraldine. Dedicated to Eloise and Stephanie. Right, so that's her partner then. Mostly black and white pictures of Caroline's art. The centerpiece is a series of full-colour nude self-portraits at different ages, stretching from 25 to 30. They have certainly not been added to evidence. In the intro, Caroline talks about influences. She was one of the youngest in her generation. In her late teens, she felt betrayed when her sister Gwendolyn and her cousin Bonnie gave up on dreams to settle with boring men. Okay, worth noting. Bishop likes her brother-in-law, Dr. Wilson, who she calls completely bogus. I'm going to add this to my Stephanie notes. So actually I'm going to add that again because that's weird. Just for context. Their marriage has led to double down on her passions, art and the environment. She married a man who was the opposite of boring, which was an overcorrection. She comes out strongly against the Roottrees company's effect on the local environment and rules how she was not able to convince her father, Zach, to make changes to policy. Right, so she is definitely Zach's daughter. She also explains that her marriage to Mark... Just gonna note this. Marries a Mark. Later marries Eloise. She also explains that her marriage to Mark led to the most volatile moments in her life, all negative, and the only good thing he ever gave her was a daughter. Leaving them all behind for good as pushed her to pursue her true loves, art and the beauty of women. Cool. The image that accompanies the story about local art in the Butler County Times is captioned Caroline standing next to her sculpture Atlas Burden. The sculpture is one of many works featured in her upcoming book, Self-Portrait, Art and Beauty of Women. Artist. Brilliant, that's another 3 down. What are we not getting right about Clark? Maybe he's not a musician anymore. Maybe that's the issue. Anyway, she marries a man called Mark. So it'll be Mark Landon, which makes sense. And then we have an Eloise. Doesn't have a last name. And her... Need to find those notes again. Karen talks about influences. She was one of the youngest in her generation. In her late teens, she portrayed her sister Gwendolyn. And her cousin Bonnie. Gave up on dreams, settled with boring men. His brother-in-law, Dr. Wilson, who's basically bogus. So if we go Wilson. Okay, that could be any of these, which isn't helpful. Presumably that's Caroline as well. I'm gonna say that's Gwendolyn. We don't know who her husband. We know he's a Wilson, but don't have anything else. I'm going to look up. Clark in here. It's supposed to be their latest job. Let me have a read of this. Dreams to settle for boring men. So, does that imply that they became housewives? Right, I may have to... I'm gonna have to tweak some settings on my thing because it's like... it's doing something really weird. Where, for some reason the image is just cutting out my monitor for some reason. It's looking fine on the capture, which is great. Right, so boring men, so I'm gonna put them down as housewives. No, that's not what I want to do. And Bonnie and Gwendolyn, I wanted to put that for. Was there anything in the... did we search the Butler County Times? About Guy Hudson? Yeah, cool. Is there anything, if I search Bonnie Hudson, is she done anything notable? Damn. Still apparently a bunch here that's interesting. Gladys Burden. I think we've got everything that we need about her, but I know we've kind of mined this already a little bit, but What if we look up these in the Modern Music Monthly? I know I can do these like really do shortcuts for these, but where can we kind of go? Because I feel like we're kind of hitting a bit of a dead end at the moment. Let's have a look at evidence as a whole. Okay, so apparently that's going to be our biggest thing at the moment. Has the most bits. If we look that up on the music thing, which I think we already had done before, but right, what if we look up Rafa Tunes? Website about Rafa Tunes, Clark Graffiti LaRue's advertising firm. Interesting. On it there is an about page and you find a picture labelled the inspiration for the famous Super Bowl ad campaign. Below that is more detail. Clark was in the department store getting a fine portrait of his wife and children. When his wife was trying to get his youngest, Katrina, to calm down for the picture, he had the idea for the Super Bowl ad. Photo is now in evidence. Right, so we now have a daughter for him. Oh, crud. So does he go under? Okay, so he's still under that. I guess he might go under advertising. That's right, that's it. Rafferty, Morden and Bonnie. Booyah, indeed. I'm so glad I finally got that Clark one. Right, the secret root tree.
On the phone, I said I owed you an explanation, but I can't reveal everything. Not yet.
Okay.
I'm sure this all seems like deception for deception's sake, so I'll try to explain why. It's true, I'm working with lawyers, but not the candy company lawyers. My publisher's lawyers.
Interesting, so she's an author.
I'm on the verge of releasing a book, and it's not kind to the Roottrees. Especially Elias and the 5 Pieces. The truth often isn't.
Yeah, no, that tracks.
But with the plane crash, the publisher is rightfully worried it'll look like I'm making things up to exploit a tragedy. So they're doing their due diligence. That's why you're here. To be sure there's enough evidence for an expert to unearth the whole story. If I tell you the whole story now, we can't prove that. I hope you understand. That said, I can say that the work you're doing is very personal to me. To my story, one spot on the tree is more important than the rest. You've likely noticed it. It's locked for now. I'll return one final time, after you fill it in.
So, oh, she's obviously related to the Samantha Roottrees. I'm guessing.
Also, there are fewer Roottrees left. In a sense, that makes it easier. Use process of elimination. It's also harder to verify when you're right. You'll need 4 blood relatives before they lock from here on out.
Great.
I don't have any more evidence for you, but trust your intuition. If something has a high number, it's not a mistake. You're getting closer and closer to the truth. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, so we've got 2 bits of evidence that we need to take a look at. It still has a high number, which I find really strange. Actually, I haven't listened to this yet. Yep, that's a disco song. I wonder if...
On wheels we glide with you by my side. Inflation is rising and so is our pride. Pick our own fate, make love not hate. They fight overseas but we'd rather skate.
Found this written on Refugees website. It was labelled with inspiration for the famous ad campaign. Clark was in the department store getting a family portrait of his wife and children. And his wife was trying to get Trina, his youngest, to calm down for the picture. He had the idea for the Roottrees Super Bowl ad. So we have the Jessica and Katrina. Oh no, wait, no, that would be J. No, wait, what? I'm just a bit confused as to why they. I guess if he changed his name to Rafferty LaRue. And then then I don't know. Maybe he married another LaRue. Is there another one of those? Yeah, there's a Kim LaRue, so maybe he married that. Which is very interesting. So, I wonder... I think who else from that photo we could fit in here. But also I want to like have a read just in case there's anything else from here. What's left to do is finish the family tree and find what's in the locked space, which they said is personal to them. So we're kind of going to be on our own for a bit. Right, so who haven't we identified from the free spirit photo? I think it's this small child is the only one left, which means... So we've got Bonnie, she's... next president guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Caroline, Gwendolyn, sorry. Gwendolyn's the one we haven't got, I think. Have we? Yeah, no, we have got Gwendolyn. So it's a small child. There's a really young girl, and I can't quite figure out where she belongs. She's not Edward's daughter, is she? It would make sense if Edward married a black woman. That would make sense if she was his daughter. So I'm gonna put that in, but we haven't got a name, that's the thing. Childish Prim writing, it says November. Unless her name is November, which it very could be. Is there a November? November, yeah. And... well, this is gonna be what... Actually, I'm gonna look her. I'll look her up. I don't know why. I was like, oh, it's obviously the month. It was like childish handprinting. That's a name. evidence do we have that could be of use? Well, that's... I mean, what was the... I had a thing about the curse. Okay, so retail RR attempted unsuccessfully to remove a fellow family member from the trust. So the RR, that was where it... This was something that I was... This is what I was sort of looking at like 2 hours ago, where I saw like RR as like the RR Productions. So, I presume... Second, to remove a pair of family members from the trust. Person question is out of wedlock. And second, they committed a significant crime against a fellow family member. Interesting. So, who could RR be? We can also look at that, maybe, what the Mayan Ruby Skull means, but we'll come back to that, I think. So, who's RR? It could be one of these guys. Saying how one of them was how there was someone who was illegitimate. Who would that be? Maybe there's something about it in Butler County Times. Roottrees versus RR. This is going to be extremely vague. Okay. I know I've searched this in some variation before. Let's have a search for the Mayan ruby skull. See what the hell that's about. You find a few conspiracy websites claim the Mayan ruby skull is a symbol of death. The alleged proof is a blurry photo of a reddish shape that is supposedly a cave painting from South America. According to legend, discovered that beneath the painting were bones. Were bones from hundreds of different people and animals. One site also mentions that a photographer took the picture and died when their boat capsized after crashing into a skull-shaped rock. Amongst the spinning skull skiffs, you find no sources or variable details back of any photos or claims. To you, the blurry photo looks more like an egg or a skull. Okay, that's not great. Could we... Have we looked up... We've looked up RTV radio. So jazz radio station, during the news segments. Israel, there wasn't a break-in. Someone with a key to the office took a picture of discovering pipes burst in the recent storm. Seems like this from the close family who was aware of the photo's history and wanted to save it. Psychologist, however, goes on to propose the culprits had an alternative agenda. Specifically, that nobody in the family has come forward to say they have it in their possession. The comment below the article says, "Don't believe their lies. This is just an evidence of the Roottrees curse." I'm gonna have another search of this. I know I've searched it before, but. I don't know what this means, but Chris Raff 75. Wonder if he's related to if he's a Rafferty. Wait, you begin to read this site and come to the conclusion that the words "no relevant results" isn't a strong enough description for what you're seeing here. It's a massive column of technical terms that aren't real and a confusing rant you can't put any meaning in. Regardless, it won't help with your search. That's really funny, actually. From Chris Raff 75. So I think that's probably a member of the family. Is there a Christopher Rafferty? There is. But where does he fit in? That must be this, right? Presumably someone born around 1975? This is Prodigy. Hang on. prodigy. Is that a thing we can search? Prodigy is an ISP that offers email service and web servicing. Customers choose a unique screen name, then Prodigy automatically creates them with an email address and simple website they can edit, share with people. Everyone with the service makes a website, but if they do, you can usually find by searching their screen name. Perfect. I'm going down the rabbit hole. You find a simple page called The Art of Rafty, copyright 1987. There's a bunch of gifts that say under construction. There are a few art pieces. The first is a painting captioned, "Me and my fiancée Lulu." A painting dated in my first year of college that I plan to give her when we get married in May. Go Tarsons. It's an old collage called Cousins, which seems to be made up of free scrambled images. Becoming artist's statement says, "I had to create a piece of art about a family. I asked as many of my extended family of cousins got for their pictures. So I asked as many of my extended family of cousins for their pictures as I could. Even some I've never met. Only a few of them got back to me, and my teacher said I wasn't allowed to use pictures of Raina, Riley, or Rose. So I had to get creative and use only my third cousins. This includes Davy, who swims for Yukon, and Bethany's yearbook photos. Hang on. His younger sister. And Stephanie, who we know about already. Chris's artwork is mandatory evidence, but the cousins' photos may be unscrambled before you can use them. You've downloaded a new application Pixpop to edit the photos. I'll look at this artwork first. Okay, so it's Chris and Lulu. Who I'm guessing he married since then. Will be a Louisa. And student college. Anyway, let's have a look at some of these photos. This is Chris Rafferty's cousin's art project. He says, and it's said to include pictures of Davy, he's from Yukon, Bethany's yearbook photo picture, Davy's younger sister, and Stephanie, who's an only child, which you extract from using the application on your PC. Oh, it's oh, weird. Hang on. What? Okay, that's fine. That's good. I think that is as well. Perfect. So that would be Bethany. Still something wrong somewhere. There it is. There it is. And sliced. Move that down. Then move this left. Up. Oh Christ, we've got the same issue again. Move that left once more. Up, left. I think that is scope. That's weird. No, I don't need the duck hint. Okay, I think I can. No, that's weird. I just realised. Hold on just about a second. Okay. So what I want to do. And then we need to move this up. It's got a bit more. And that goes. Up, that goes left, goes back down. Again, that goes up. Goes up, that goes left, goes down. Now we move. Let's go down to. That moves all the way this way. Crud. Okay. Actually, hang on. And then that moves. Nope, that's not what I want. That moves up. That. No, it needs to be on the, like, all this way. So it's literally just going to be, they're all in the same, like, row, I think, apart from this one. So it's just sort of matching those, getting those in order. Ah, okay. I just need to get this arm in there in the right place, which in theory shouldn't be too difficult, but will be. keep making this worse for myself. I'm making this way worse. Okay. That's what I want to do. Right, then we need to move these 3 up. These 2. Then right, we're going to do a little bit of this dance again. No, these need to go right. Okay, these need to go up. Something I want to do, keep choosing the wrong one. Okay, so it's just going to be matching up. Needs to go just 5 left, so that bring this down. Bring that up. Just making this worse. I'm gonna keep trying. I think I can get it, it's just... I think... isn't the right one. Move all these. Okay, at least we got those 4 in a row. So where? And so we've got 1. That goes up to 2. It's down by 1. No. Effect, right, and then it's got too many small bits. Okay, and that can go. How does that get? keep forgetting about how that works. Screw it, I'm gonna skip it. I can't be bothered anymore. We've been out for like half an hour. Right, so let's just go as part of just this one. First one, photo. Then we have Davy. And the other one. So I said in the note that Davy and Bethany are siblings. I am guessing that's these two, and they are maybe not. Okay, maybe, yeah. Hang on. I thought maybe they were James's children, but then they don't have the same last name. So maybe they're Bonnie's kids? Dichotomy? Weird. So I wonder if she marries someone called Kellogg. Yeah, because I'm looking at the same sort of yeah, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be these two, so it'll be, and he'll be David Kellogg the fourth. He is a student. Booyah. And then Bethany Kellogg as well, who is also a college student? Question mark? I'm gonna have a look at the thing. His year at photo. Okay, now that means she's a high school student. And then that would mean that's David Kellogg the third. And they said Stephanie, who's an only child, but that's... We have her locked in, so it's a different Stephanie. Who's a... I don't know. Possibly... her? Gwyneth's daughter? Is there another... She wears glasses as well, so that kind of matches up. Is there another Stephanie Cottrell? And obviously she's a high school student as well. Marrying Sam Cottrell, possibly. I'm gonna look up, see if there's anything on. No. There's some kind of wild guesses, but I might be right. Okay. But then, hang on, she has the same kind of quite... That would make sense actually, because she has the same quite dark hair that Samantha has, so she could have inherited that. That's... I want to lock in one more before we finish today. I don't know where we kind of start. Thinking who we have left on here, and it's like, yeah, these are kind of well, presumably if one of these are, this is Wilson, then these are going to be Wilsons as well. What if we do a search? No, I can't do a search for Wilson, it's too vague. Dr. Wilson? He's a prominent... Great. Dr. Stephen Wilson is a pediatrician who practices north of Pittsburgh. There are lots of Stephen Wilsons and Dr. Wilsons. This one apparently found a way to game the search results, as he pops up top every time. So it claims he's the pediatrician to the stars. The evidence is he apparently was doctors to Roottrees sisters. There's a picture of him on his website as well as a picture of his 3 children. 3 of them look as though the photographer was holding them hostage. Regardless, photos have been added to your evidence. There is also a quote that, although credited to his son Jason, you may expect it may not be written by Stephen Wilson. Jason Wilson. My dad is the best dad in the entire world and he treats every patient with world-class care. He will treat your child like he would like me, my big brother, or my sister. So Jason is the middle child. Let's have a look at this. Oh no, he's the smallest. Okay. That's fine. Stephen Wilson. Yeah, I can see why Caroline did not like him. Stephen Wilson, and let's throw in his photo. And then Jason Wilson. And Zach Wilson. Obviously he's going to be a child. And Jem Wilson, I guess. And he's just graduated, so he's could be. I don't know if that's high school or if that's. Boom. Who is also going to be a high school student if she is that sort of age. Right, is that so if we need to get James Roundtree's kids. I'm assuming one of them is going to wondering who that name is familiar. We've seen that name. Okay, I think we're gonna call it there for the day. And I think we're gonna come back to this next week. Not sure when next week, because probably not gonna be a stream on Saturday, but we will definitely back with this because we're so close to cracking this and getting this all done. We just need 2 more sort of lock-ins, and then we should be able to get the final one. It's really just going to be figuring this out, like Gwyneth's job was. That's pretty much locked in. And then it's getting all these last couple mystery ones, like finding out who James's children are, what happened to November, who Ronald's kids are, and Eli's son. I wonder if yeah, we're gonna have to come back to this next time. So I'm looking forward to that, actually. I'm looking forward to kind of wrapping this up. So thanks for joining me for the stream today, whether you join me for the whole thing or you join me for 5 minutes or anywhere in between. I really, really appreciate you hanging out. So thanks for hanging out for the stream today. Yeah. So as always, au revoir, baby. See ya.